censorship, traffic throttling, and shadow banning of content has impacted the Andre Segovia Show's reach across the big tech platforms. In order to make the program uncancelable, I made the show available across multiple different platforms in various types of formats. Your support for the show goes a long way to ensure the lights stay on. There are different ways you can support. One, you can sign up for Locals, which is free, and you can choose to be a paid supporter through there. Locals is where you get exclusive shows within the show and exclusive access to me directly. But if Locals is not for you, you can always check out my storefront on Amazon, where you can buy my published works from the Enoch Bellagio series or the Andre Segovia Show, transcripts of the early days. You can also shop for the gear that I use to make my coffee. If you're wondered what kind of tools you might need to produce your own podcast because you want to get into that, you can also check out my tech on how I produce my show there as well. So go to theandresegovia.com/shop. That's theandresegovia.com/shop and find all the links there. That's theandresegovia.com/shop.
You're listening to The Andre Segovia Show.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Andre Segovia. Welcome to The Andre Segovia Show. On this episode, I am joined by your Instagram name, Xanthia, but you go by Harley. Harley, by all means, let my audience know who you are, what do you do?
So I'm Harley. I love traveling. I love working out. I am currently an EMT on the rescue team back in my hometown. But other than that, that's what I got going on. Just trying to travel, see the world, and help people.
Yeah, and help people. Well, first off, there's a lot of stuff that you've already said that even I don't know, because we, as we discussed before we even started recording, is we kind of met to social media. You found me, and eventually I figured out that you're a real person because of other social medias that I was able to kind of cross-reference. I'm like, okay, this is not a bot, it's a real person. And I started following you. And I got to say, you're one of the most interesting accounts that I have been following. And I get a kick out of it because I'm like, okay, I can't quite pin this girl down because I don't know where she comes across. You're one of three individuals that two that I know better. One that's a friend of my sister's that do like outdoorsy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, the pictures are fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a photographer, or are you the photographer? Who's the one taking these pictures?
I take my own pictures.
Oh, nice.
So I have a tripod that I set up, and I used to put it on a timer, and I would count down and then take the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But I've upgraded myself, and I have a clicker now, so it makes it a lot easier.
So are you using, or what are you say you have a tripod, but what are you using to take the pictures then? Is it like an iPhone or?
It's a Galaxy. So I was using my S9, and then I just upgraded my phone. So for my most recent travel when I went to Glacier, I had my new phone. So, but yeah, Glacier was beautiful. So that was really easy to take pictures of.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't know, and I'm glad I asked, because most people, especially when it comes to Instagram, it's like, oh, it's an iPhone. But in this case, like what you said, you're using a Samsung Galaxy something. So that's pretty cool. I actually use both. The nature of the business, I have to use two devices. And the more I did content creation, the more I realized, not just in real estate, because I'm a real estate broker, but my industry and also some of the content creation industry only tailors to iOS products, specifically the iPhone. And I really hate that. I'm like, oh, I'll just get an iPod. I mean, an iPhone is just a glorified iPod with the ability to make phone calls. No, apparently there is a lot more going for it behind the scenes. So for example, when we're recording this past weekend was my first Amazon Live creator broadcast. So I was pitching products and things that I do use on the show that I feature, sometimes a mug and things like that. And it's only available through an iPhone. I'm like, for real? It's like, I don't want to use an iPhone. But this service that I'm using called StreamYard, I was able to map it so that I could shoot from here and broadcast to Amazon, but I had to have an iPhone as the bridge. That is so ridiculous, but it's something I like. So for you to say that using a Samsung, it's pretty awesome. Cause like, hey, see, Android can do it too. But seriously, the pictures are absolutely gorgeous. And you said you set up a tripod. Was Glacier Bay the one where you went with a friend, or
I usually do most of my travels alone.
and
So
that's also what I wanted to get. Solo traveling. Have you seen the film 127 Hours?
I actually haven't.
Is it because but you're familiar with this one? This one with James Franco telling
No,
the
I
story.
don't know about it. What's it about?
All right, so there's this dude. The true story is that this dude went hiking. I don't know if it was Arches Canyon in Utah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he falls during his hike and gets pinned by a rock to his arm. And the reason it's called 127 hours because that's how long he was trapped there, and there was
Yeah.
no one that could come to his aid. So using his pocket knife, he amputated himself.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
and he got out of there. So it's an interesting film. It's somehow a little fun, but yeah, it's rated R for a reason because they don't mince on the gory details.
Mhm.
That he was a solo hiker, but that's what I want to ask you. So solo adventuring, is that by choice? What made you want to do that?
Yeah, it's by choice, and then also like people, my friends and stuff that I would ask to join me, like they're all always down to go and they want to go, but you make these plans and then they can't go for whatever reason. And like I spent a lot of my life waiting for people to go with me, and sometimes no one's coming. So you just got to do what you're going to do. And I think a lot of people are afraid to go by themselves because they're afraid like of being alone, or they're scared or whatever. And for me, I'm like, well, I'm not scared and I'm going to go because like I have enough confidence in my skill set and my abilities to where, I know enough where I think I'd be okay to go, and then also too, I have like a very strong belief in God. And I also, my dad, he passed away a few years back, and I'm 100% convinced he watches over me. And like, so I always know that I'm good. So I don't worry about anywhere that I go. I know that like I have both them with me. And so I'm just, I want to go see these things. I'm not getting any younger. So when I find something, if I find it cheap and nice, like if I get a flight that's super cheap, or if I see that the hotels are cheap, I just go.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
So yeah, I don't, and a lot of people too, like they plan out their trips a lot, and life is meant to mess up your plans. So I don't plan it. I just wing it when I get there. Like I look obviously at the area where I'm staying, and I read the reviews and stuff before I stay somewhere. But other than that, I'm like, I just talk to the park rangers. I ask them what they think I need to know, what kind of animals are around there, and then I just go by my gut feeling on things. So if I feel like I shouldn't go there at this time, I don't go there at that time. So I kind of just wing it.
That makes for great adventures. That's character traits of a leader, by the way, because sometimes, hey, you got to trailblaze. For myself, I am the first in my family to graduate from university, so I trailblaze for those that come after me. I'm first generation American, and it's seeing the next generation, the ones after me, not just following footsteps, and not just here, but in back in the home countries of El Salvador or even Spain, that they're finding their confidence to be able to achieve those dreams and even go beyond what I was able to do. That is pretty awesome. So it's a character trait, and like you say, I love that. It's like, dude, you either go or you don't. So it's
Right.
And it happens often because that's exactly what I've run into. And sometimes I'm like, I literally had a trip planned within 1 hour, and the weekend was coming, and the wife asked, what are we going to do this weekend? And we had 2 kids. Now we have 4, but we had 2 kids, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't think we're going to do anything. So then 1 hour later, I'm like, all right, honey, we're leaving. So where are we going? Utah. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, we'll book on the way, we'll figure it out. The point is, we're going to go. I don't want to stay here this weekend. Leaving SoCal, then
Right.
I was late. We're on the road. It's like, what? And it made for one of the most fun adventures, just because like you don't expect anything. And,
Right.
and for you, did you travel before? Well, you mentioned your father. Did you travel with your father? Because you see, it seems like he had a big impact in your life to make you confident.
Um, oh yeah. Well, so my dad and I, we never really traveled much. He was sick a lot. So he wasn't able to always go with us, but I traveled a lot with my mom. But when I was younger, before my dad got super sick, he had taken a couple road trips. So he had drove himself out to Oklahoma and back. And then he actually, one of his trips, which this birthday was very special for me because his last trip that he took himself, he went out to Yellowstone. And so that's why I went there for my birthday. I was like, well, dad made this trek, he drove out there and he went to Yellowstone. So like, I'm going to do it too. And he was out for like 2 weeks. So that's about how long I was out. I stayed a week in Yellowstone and then I went to the Grand Tetons for a couple of days. But I wanted to take that trip because he did it. And it was incredible. So my car, actually, I took the car that he picked out for me.
Oh,
so the car I have now is the one that he personally picked out for me. And so I took that car out there, and I've had this car since 2009. So it has like, I don't know, 200 plus thousand miles on it. And my mom was not happy, but I was like, Mom, I'm not waiting. I'm going. You can fly in and meet me if you want, but I'm going. So, so I like my last day there, I like that. I did not want to leave Yellowstone. I freaking absolutely loved it there.
it's beautiful there.
And yeah, it was just incredible. It's so alive. Like there's so much, like the ground's alive. Like it's incredible. And so I went out there and it was my last day and I was like, man, I don't want to go home. And I had my dog with me, and for the last day I left her at the room because I wanted to, like, some of these places they don't allow dogs. And that's for good reason too. When you're in a national park and they don't allow your pets, like it's because there's predators that'll eat your dog.
Yeah.
So if you love your dog, take care of them. Don't bring them where they can get like killed,
Yeah.
Also too, it disrupts the natural like environment too, because you have other living beings there that are afraid of dogs, and that scent from the dog stays in the ground, and it scares the prey away, so that ruins the whole ecosystem. So there's reasons why they have these rules. So I had to find that out, the hard way. Like meaning that I got stopped by a ranger and they explained this all to me. So I was very gracious for her. Because I thought they were just being rude. Like, you can't bring your pets here. But
I pay the taxes.
yeah, right. Like, can't bring your pets here. Like, I'm like, why? You bring your children. So she's my baby. Like, why can't I bring her? But to my story, my car, I was getting off. I decided I want to go to the Old Faithful Village, to the gift shop there, because I hadn't been in the gift shop. And so I kind of just wanted to go there because I've been to the actual Old Faithful a couple different times, but not to the shop. And I was like, oh, I should go grab something from there. And so I got off the freeway, or their little freeway inside there.
Yeah.
And so as I'm coming around the turnoff and I'm pulling into the village, there's a Napa Auto. And I shit you not, my car stopped right in front of the Napa Auto, just stopped working. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like, because if you break down anywhere else in that park, you have no service. That, like, you have to flag someone down and hope that someone wants to stop and talk to you, right?
Yeah.
So apparently out in Montana in general, and like the Wyoming area, the weather is so rough on your vehicles that this is a very common problem where your alternator just stops working. So it's a common problem. But I got so lucky. And so the guy at Napa, he towed me back to the hotel I was staying at. And I got super lucky too, because that part, they had one left. Otherwise, I
Wow.
would have had to wait who knows how long for a part.
Holy smokes.
So I got super lucky because everything's on back order. If you try to go get your car fixed right now, it's going to take you a month or so, if not more, to get it fixed because they're not getting their shipments in and everything's very delayed. So I got super freaking lucky and I was like, see, and that's what we call divine intervention. Like my dad was like, shoot, we got to get her to Napa. And so they freaking pushed my car along far enough to get him there. And also too, I saw on the last day that I went there, it was such a great trip. There was just so many like divine interventions in that trip, or like, you know, every time I see like an animal or something, I feel like that's like my dad's way of saying hi to me. So when I see like rare animals, so usually when I go on my hikes, I end up seeing like some rare animals that you typically most people don't see in the parks. So I saw a white wolf, which is super rare there because they only have 100 in the whole park. So I saw a white one the first second I drove into that park, white wolf. Wow. So I was like, well, hello, you know? So I'm like, hi, this is great. This is super rare. And then also my last day, I saw like pretty much every animal the park had to offer. I saw like a grizzly bear, brown bear, you know, elk, obviously the bison are everywhere. I'm sorry?
Those cuddly bears, yes.
Yes. I sent a picture to the bear and I texted my best friend. I was like, hey, can I pet this dog? He's like, don't pet that dog. And I was like, but I want to pet
it. It's not the teddy bear from the stories.
Right? Yeah. This is not a nice bear. Especially grizzlies, they can get very aggressive. They're very aggressive
They're the most
animals.
aggressive.
Yeah. So you want to be very far away from them, and you have people just like getting super close. And I'm like, as long as I outrun you, we're good.
Well, if you watch The Revenant, that didn't work out so much for Leo.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they'll do to you.
Yeah.
They get very aggressive. The black bears, I think, are the ones that you can scare away by noise. But grizzlies, so I heard two different things in regards to like noise and bears. So I heard like some people walk around with like jingle bells on their walking sticks and stuff.
Interesting.
And so they sound like a reindeer to me. But I guess some bears, it actually makes them more curious. Oh. So you're actually attracting them because they want to know what that noise is. But other bears, it scares them away. So I'm like, I guess pick your poison.
Yeah, you'll find out one way or another, right?
Exactly. So, you know, and then for me, I find that like dusk, a lot of the predators come out at night, right? So dusk, so between like 4 to 7 p.m., that's when you'll see a lot of predators coming out. And that's also when a lot of the deer come out, which is the prey, right? So like you want to leave the park by then if you're, you know, or at least hang out in your car to watch. Yeah. So you don't really want to spend too much time out there at that time if you're trying not to get mauled. Yeah. But if you want to see them, though, that's a good time to see them. So
do you take any like tool or self-defense items when you
I do. So a lot of people have their firearms. And for me, I'm a big proponent of if you can't handle the adrenaline running through your body to use a firearm, use something else. Because if you've ever had actual adrenaline run through your body, you get really shaky. So depending on how you are in that situation can depend on how good your aim's going to be, right? Yeah. So we all think we're big badasses when we're playing it through our heads, but in reality, it's not always going to work out that way. So something really easy to use is bear mace. And that stuff is super potent. Like if you ever, I accidentally sprayed it off in my house on accident because I had the safety off of it and it fell right on the trigger. And so just like a little pump happened in my house and we had to leave my house for the rest of the day.
Way to go.
Yeah, it was bad. It hurt. So, and also too, if you spray a person with that, they have to go to the hospital to get that off. Like bear mace is not something to like mess around with, like with your friends.
Yes, it doesn't easily wash off. So how do they deal with it at the hospital?
So, well, it depends where you get it, because if you get it in your eyes and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
that's the part where it's a big problem. On your skin, it's going to be like pepper spray, where it's like you're gonna. I think they put like milk. Is one of the things that they use, like, at least for like PD officers when they get their pepper sprayed, they use milk, I believe. And but then every time you go to take a shower after, you reactivate it.
Oh
So if you
man.
get wet again, you're going to reactivate it. It's not going to be as bad as it was the first time, but you're going to have it reactivated. So it's just it's painful. And it'll reactivate. Like, it's, if you sweat on it, if you get wet again, and it's
Oh
going to stay
man.
there until the chemical just burns off.
Dude,
So you
that
might have
sucks.
it there for a good day.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
So,
Yeah.
and then just bear mace is stronger because it's for
Yeah.
bears. So,
Yeah. It's embarrassed. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just
Okay.
imagine that way worse.
Yeah. Wow. That is
So,
not.
but
It,
yeah, so if you do have to use bear mace, make sure you have it pointed the right way, and then don't stay in that area. Like, move, and don't move
oh
into it, and make sure the wind's not blowing. See, there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
yeah,
So
and how are you gonna think about all that when the bear's on top? Like, oh my gosh, it's like the
yeah,
adrenaline kicks in, the fear
yeah,
factor kicks
exactly.
in.
And then people under pressure, they get real fumble fingered, and people under pressure don't always think appropriately.
Yeah.
So, if you're calm, you can think better, and you can have all these thoughts rapid fire in your head and then move around. So, which for me, like being an EMT, like, I'm used to having to think under pressure a lot.
Mhm.
So I kind of and then practice too, like practice just messing around with your stuff and getting that muscle memory.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to like adrenaline stuff, it's all about muscle memory, because your brain will take over and do what you trained to do. So if you practice just whipping it, like just play around in your house with the safety on. Safety's always on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll be super quick with it, and then practice backing up, or if the wind's blowing that day and you want to go outside and practice like moving in the direction of the wind, where the wind's not blowing, you can also train your body to feel that.
Mm.
So
Yeah, and in keeping with Yellowstone and being gored by animals, there's a big old sign. At least I was there when the last time I came in, because people misunderstand, like a bear. Yeah, like, oh my gosh, you gotta stay away from a bear. There's a bison right there. It's bigger than my car. I'm gonna go snap a picture of it with the flash on, 1 foot away. Those are the ones killing people because they're startling those docile creatures. But these are
oh
2-ton
yeah.
buses that are rushing at you with horns.
Oh
And
yeah, and then too, they have their babies out there, and just like any animal, if they're afraid of you, or if you look like a threat to them, they will, or you're on their territory, or there's something there that they're protecting, they're gonna come after you. So that means, like, if they have some food that they're eating, or if their baby's nearby, if you accidentally startle them, they're going to see you as a threat. They're not going to be like you and think, oh, what is this, before reacting. They don't have that. They have to live. So they're just like,
fight or
I
flight
don't know what
instinct.
this is, but full on charge.
They look tiny. Let me stomp them. It's
Yeah.
those animals are absolutely majestic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't forget the first time seeing one walking next to me. I was driving down the main highway entering Yellowstone through Wyoming, and I was talking to my friends, like, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if there was a bear on the road blocking traffic? And as we're driving, we see like this big brown formation ahead of us. I'm like, dude, that's not a bear standing on his hind legs, is it? And as we're getting closer, I'm like, no, he's keeping the right of way. That's a bison. They passed us by, and I'll never forget how every one of his steps just shook the ground, just how heavy he was. And I was in the pickup, the F-150, and his hump
Yeah.
was taller than the F-150. And I'm just watching it pass by and feeling my vehicle go like this, like I'm in Jurassic Park. Like, dude, wow. My mom was in a different vehicle at the time. This was like 20 years ago. So my mom was in a
Yeah.
different vehicle. We using walkie-talkies. She comes over the walkie-talkies. Vámonos, mijito, let's go. It's like, we got to get out. It's going to kill us. It's like, he just walked us by. Like, just leave him alone. No, but she was panicked. She couldn't enjoy the park. We were there for like another several hours, but still, I'm like, I didn't want to leave. But every time she saw like the deers, the deer right there is going to startle the prey could come at them any moment, and if they don't get the deer, they'll get us. Like, Mom, can we just enjoy nature? It's like it's right there. Well, how often can you say you see Bambi here? You know, it's like
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you gotta enjoy the nature, but just be smart about it.
exactly.
So that's kind of like what I always tell people, because I get a lot of people that get worried about me going, and I'm like, well, I mean, I look up the animals I'm gonna go I'm gonna see there,
Yeah.
so I mean, I gotta make sure I know at least enough to, like, enough safety to know how far away to be from them, like at bare minimum. Because those things can run fast, and they're big, so people don't think that they can run that fast. And it's like, no, they can. I think they said that they could run like 25 or 30 miles an hour, maybe 40 if I'm not. Maybe I think was it 25? I don't know. My mind doesn't remember right now.
The
But
point is
but
faster
they
than you, probably,
definitely
right?
faster than I can run. I don't like to run, so if I'm running, then you should probably follow me. Um, like, I hate running. So, but yeah, like those things they're massive. And another thing is too is like, if you do happen to be like, sometimes you'll be standing there and you're looking at something different, right? And then all of a sudden it's super close to you, like closer than it should be, and you're like,
Mm.
well, now what? Like, we're super close. So then it's kind of like, well, I'm just going to move slowly and get out of their way. So like, obviously I'm not going to turn around and run really fast, but like just like slow movements so you don't startle them. Cause like I said, they're considered prey animals, cause that's what, wolves are going to be hunting down, and, other predators. So, they want to defend themselves. They want to live. So just don't act like a predator. You know, don't do stuff that predators would do, which is like sneak up on them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No.
But
Well,
it's fun to watch the wildlife too, because while I was there, I was watching a coyote, and he was trying to hunt himself some pronghorns,
mhm.
and so he was kind of stalking them, doing the
Yeah.
slow movement towards them, and then all of a sudden the pronghorn, I'm assuming this must have been the male, because he turned around and saw, and then he like alerted the other little group, and then they charged him.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. Like, I go, oh, what? I hope they don't, like, I love all animals. So I'm like, I hope they don't hurt him in front of me. Like, that'll be
Maybe
horrible.
maybe the coyote should stick to roadrunners, huh?
Right? Yeah. He got himself a squirrel after that.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but they like, it was so crazy how they like uniformed. They got in this like triangle shape, and they
Oh,
just charged him.
isn't that cool?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super cool. So I was like, man, that's fascinating. I was so happy to see that.
And well, seeing all the experiences, because this last major one was like Yellowstone, and I think there's another. But how many solo adventures have you been on? It like top of your head, like round number, if you can think of one.
Um, oh gosh. Hold on, let me see. So I went to Arches.
Hmm.
I went to Thailand. Um, Glacier, Grand Tetons, Yellowstone. I'm probably fixing to go to Arizona here pretty soon.
Mm.
Um, not too many, right?
So less
Not too
about.
many. There's in Washington D.C. I went to Washington D.C. That was probably my first. Well, Thailand, I flew out alone to go meet a friend,
Mm.
and so that was probably like my first one. And then like obviously like Yosemite, but we live in California, so I don't really count California travels because I've traveled all over California alone.
Gotcha. But
So
still, these are these are national parks, and some of
mhm.
them you can take those advanced hiking trips. Normally done either alone or in pairs, I've noticed. But that's what I'm asking, because I would say, is it safe to say like about 10 or less, give or take?
Probably about
And
that, yeah.
have you ever had like an encounter with nature that freaked you out?
Um, No, not really. I've been pretty fortunate with my encounters. And then also too, I usually take my dog.
Mm.
So she actually, if I was to have a crazy encounter, it would have been at the Grand Tetons because there was my dog. She's a pretty independent dog, and she usually doesn't like to stay completely at my hip. And
Mm.
for some reason, while we we're at the Grand Tetons, she was not leaving my hip. Like I couldn't even
Oh,
get like usually she'll stay for a picture and I could walk away and take a picture of her. She wasn't even letting me do that. And
but
so
she
I was
knew.
kind of like, that's not good. She must know something I
Yeah,
don't.
she's probably smelling it.
So
It's like,
yeah, so I was like, well, let's go ahead and leave because again, it was around that dusk time.
mm.
So I packed us up and loaded us up into the car. And as we're driving away, there was a bear with her cubs.
Oh, yeah, the
So
perfect run-in.
yeah, so I was like, oh, that works out really good that we left because they were making their way down to the lake we were at.
Mm.
So she had smelt them that far.
Oh, man,
So
dogs are
so I
awesome.
was like, that's probably why she was being, I call her a baby. That's why she's being such a freaking baby. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I usually take her with me. So I kind of just she's kind of like my warning signs
Yeah,
as well. Because I didn't personally have any at that moment. She did though. So I usually go with her. She's saved me from people.
oh, that's good too.
So so yeah, but she's a good dog. She's usually pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
So I kind of rely on her a lot. And then I raised her. So we're very in tune together.
Mm.
So she knows when I'm uncomfortable, which that actually, if you ever read, there's a book called The Gift of Fear, and it talks about like your intuition. And
Mm.
it actually says how dogs actually pick up your uncomfortability around people opposed to their own.
Interesting.
So they pick up that there's something in you that's different when you're around that person.
Mm.
So that's why they might be more clingy to you when there's a certain person around, or they maybe bark at this person a lot for some reason.
Mm.
So they pick up that on yourself. So they're not picking up on something about the person; they're picking up on how you are because they know you.
Yeah, and
So
dogs are just awesome creatures. Before we started rolling, I told you that I spoke to one of the heroes of the Benghazi Libya fiasco. Unbelievably, 10 years ago is when it happened. Like wow, and I remember it like yesterday, because I was very into the news at the time, and because I have friends serving overseas too. But this particular one, because such a political football, the true story isn't all that well known, and unfortunately. Uh, Lock her up never actually happened. So that she's the Wicked Witch of the West is still out there.
hmm
So well, I was able to speak to him because I brought him on. Mark Geist's name. I brought him on. I don't know if you see it. This is from his organization. It's called Shadow Warriors Project. People have heard of the Wounded Warriors Project,
yeah.
and this is Shadow Warriors. So it's for they're kind of known as mercenaries, but no, these are the private contractors for the government. And he opened up the first organization of its kind to help them because there is no recourse for like for any medical assistance or like for the family or themselves. That's why for at least Mark and others that got injured, that served the contract, there's that whole thing about like, oh, they were told to stand down by the CIA director, the boss or the chief, and they disobeyed orders and they went. By saying that they did that, that means their contract with the United States government was void, and their insurance policy, workers' comp, was void. And Mark had his arm was blown off. Well, anyway, that's I could get really into that story. The point is, there was almost no recourse. So when he had friends in high places that helped him out, that when he came to, he started looking more into like finding ways to help others like him that do not have that kind of access to tools. And one of the things, because of the whole trauma that goes into all this, like the psychological effects thereof, he ended up Shadow Warriors Project partnered up with Bat and K9. So I think they're a Canadian-based company, if I'm not mistaken, and they provide K9s trained for a former operator to help them out, and just that relationship that bonds them is absolutely amazing. Like what a person couldn't do for the operator to make them feel they could live again, the dog did. And one of
Yeah.
my favorite expressions from Mark on the interview, where he said, dog is the only one of its species that would leave its own species to be with a person. Like, holy smokes, that's so true. That's why I hate cats.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, like they say that like your relationship with your dog is like sometimes like the foundation of how you'll be with people, because your dog teaches you how to love unconditionally. Like they love you when you're in a shitty ass mood. They love you when you're sad. They love you when you're happy. Like, you know, they love you regardless of all your faults, right? And they don't expect anything from you except obviously some food. My dog is actually very demanding, but but they like don't expect anything from you, but like just for you to be you, you know, like, you know, you're here today, I'm happy, you know, and that's like they emulate how we should love each other, right? Like we expect so much from people and we want them to be how like our idea of them. And I think that's kind of like where a lot of people get lost, especially with soldiers. They go into battle and they see all this stuff, and then they come back home and they're trying to like acclimate to normal society. And then they have their loved ones that are there, and their loved ones want to love them, but their loved ones have their own wants and needs from them. And they don't understand that they can't provide that all the time. Like they can't be who they want them to be all the time. Like, especially after seeing war and stuff like that, you know, you're never going to be the same seeing that kind of stuff or doing stuff that you have to do while you're to survive, you know? So, and a dog understands that. You know, like dog doesn't care about that. A dog doesn't see you as anyone damaged, doesn't pity you. Like they just see you as like everything great that you are. Yeah. And it really like, that's the way to like help heal and love others, is you just see them for everything great that they are. So, you know, like, you know, my dog's like, oh my God, you pet me, I'm so happy. You know, like, and like you can see it in their little faces how happy they are. And you know, like, oh my God, you're here today, I'm so happy. You know, as people are like, oh, like, how are you doing, are you okay? Like, and then it's kind of like, can you stop asking me that? Like, I don't want to talk about it. You know, like, can we just be normal? Can we just pretend things are good? Like some people like to pretend things are good. And I think we like want to focus on feelings so much that we don't let people just be happy. Like if I'm happy ignoring my feelings, let me ignore them. You know, like I will deal with them in my way, the way I want to. And if that's like going and pumping iron, or if that's me like going out in nature, or if that's me like taking a walk, you know, or writing in a journal, like whatever it is that people like you do, as long as it's something healthy. Obviously I don't want to advocate for drug and alcohol use, but if it's something productive, and if I am good with myself and who I am because I can go work out, you know, and that makes me happy, then like I don't need to talk about my feelings to you. Like just know that I'm having a moment and I want to go over here. My dog doesn't ask me questions. You know, she just sees that I'm sad, and then she just gives me a couple kisses, and I'm like done. I'm done being sad. I'm like, okay.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, like I'm just like, oh, okay, you know. And she doesn't ask me questions. She doesn't pity me. She's just like, you look like you need a kiss, you know. Or you know what? Here's my toy. Let's play. Let's forget about that, and let's have a tug of war event.
And I brought you on to talk essentially about the health aspect of things, and I'm glad you set it up. Even though we've been chatting while rolling for 37 minutes already, the whole thing about, I guess, how we can kind of connect it to what I wanted to ask you about your health journey, like the post that we mentioned before, rolling with respects to being that many days sober. But when you started your Great Outdoors Adventures, was that like for health reasons, like to get away from it all, or just because you always wanted to travel?
Well, I've always wanted to travel. So I was in like a 9-year long relationship where he didn't want to travel or anything like that. Great guy. He just never had any interest. And so I always stayed home with him, and we were just in town, and we went like a few different places here in California, but I wanted to go see like Europe, and I wanted to go to all these different countries, and he just like wasn't interested in it. And then when we broke up, my next boyfriend, him and I talked about going and traveling. And that's the thing, is people always talk. And then so the next guy I dated, I was like, okay, like I'm going to Thailand. I found you a ticket. It's like $600. are you going or what? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet my friend there. And it's kind of history from there. So, cause I explained to him, I'm like, look, like I would like you to come with me. And I found you a ticket if you want to go. And unfortunately he couldn't go. He wasn't in a position to leave like I was. But like, I don't have kids. I'm not married. Like, I'm going to go. So I went. And after that, I was like, man, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. And then 2020 hit. And I was like, well, shit. Like, if I don't go do this stuff now, like, what if this another stupid event happens where they try to like lock us all in our houses again? Yeah. Or we can't travel without a freaking pass or whatever, like I already wasn't happy about the whole Real ID thing. And then now I need a Vax card to go to some of these places. Like, I'm not cool with that. So I think the world belongs to everyone. And I don't think we need to have like proof of why we need to go anywhere. Or, like, I don't think we need anything like that. So then I was like, well, I'm going to just start going. And so I just started going. And then I would let my friends know, like, hey, do you want to come here and do this with me? And some would say yes and would be able to go. I have a couple girlfriends that are usually down. My one girlfriend, though, she just had a baby. So congrats to her, but she can't go for a while now. But my other friend, she's always usually down to go. But finances for her is a little hard because she's trying to do the nursing school thing. So, but yeah, so I just let everyone know. I'm like, I'm leaving at this time. I'm going at this time. I want to see stuff. Like I said earlier, I'm not getting any younger. So it's kind of like it was also coming out of like a very toxic relationship. And like, I just wanted to travel and see things. And there was a lot of stuff that was promised to go do in that relationship that we never did. So we talked about it a lot, but we just never did it. And then because of 2020 hitting and we broke up around that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do all the things that like I wanted to do when we were together and we didn't do. And there's all these places here that America is just beautiful. Yeah. And I can afford it. So I'm like, I'm just going to do the retirement plan now.
We're not guaranteed a long life.
I'm sorry?
We're not guaranteed a long life.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too, working in this field, like I was getting a lot of young people passing away, especially in 2021. 2020, 2021, getting a lot of young people passing away. So, and that's, like you got people having heart problems and getting pulmonary embolisms, strokes.
I wonder why.
I have no idea. So, and it just goes to show you like life's short, especially now, like, I mean, you're going to live in fear your whole life. Like, I don't want to do that. I lived that for a while. I lived in fear for a long time. And it's so boring. Like you don't get to do anything you want to do. You're afraid of other people's opinions. You're afraid of this. You're afraid of that. And it's like, number one, money will always return. You can always get your money back. You just got to, grind. You'll get your money back. I'm very fortunate in the job I have. I can always pick up overtime. And then right now they offer double time. So I can pick up an extra shift and make more in that shift than working a regular shift. So I'm fortunate in that sense with my job. I do have the ability to make back what I spend. Yeah. So, but there's always like side gigs, and especially now it's so easy to come up with stuff, Yeah. So you just like literally YouTube is right there with all the information. And if you use the TikTok, if you know how to manipulate the algorithms, you can make it work for you. So you can learn about, oh, well, I take good pictures. I can sell my pictures online. Like, oh, I like making bracelets. I can sell bracelets to my friends and family. Like, there's always a knack for something, and people will pay you for stuff that they don't want to do themselves. So if you can figure that out, you can always make money back. So I know it's like scary for a lot of people. And there's, they're usually starting out in debt already, which I kind of had saved up not doing anything for so many years. I've saved up quite a bit of money. So, so I have that too, which makes me a lot more comfortable doing what I do. But yeah, like you can always go, like you can always find a way to go. Like if you go on off seasons, it's cheaper. But yeah, I started going because I was in that toxic relationship, and I just had a lot of soul searching to do. And because prior to that, I was like in a relationship my whole life. So I was always like focusing on other people and very codependent. And that comes with a lot of negative qualities. Like codependent people are usually good people, but they have a lot of negative traits and harmful traits to other people as well. So, and then if you get two codependents together, it's just like, it's hard. So, just with that, I had a lot of soul searching to do and being out in nature. And then I also too was because of 2020. I don't know who else did this, but 2020 was the year of like binge drinking. Like how are we all going to deal with this shit? We're going to drink, right? That's what we're all doing. Drinking and trying to work out outside. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, well, I want to get rid of that habit because that's a bad habit. And, but I've been working out for a long time though. I started working out back in 2011, I think 2011, 2012, because my god sister, she did a Tough Mudder, and I thought that looked badass, and I wanted to do that. So Sean T got me ready for that. And the guy that does P90X, I'm forgetting his name right now. I can't remember it. But I started training for that using those guys. And then Sean T introduced me to, was it Sean T or no? Body Beast. That's when I got into weightlifting. And I will never go back to that freaking HIIT training ever again. Like obviously, like if I'm trying to like shred up, I will. But like weightlifting is the funnest thing. Like I personally love it, and I love being strong. So that's when my fitness journey started around there. And then I actually tried to go for the DEA. So I have my master's in criminology. So I wanted to go DEA. Well, DEA to go FBI. That's initially where I wanted to end up. So I was training for the DEA for their physical agility. And so I hooked up with my trainer, and he is a Marine, and he was a gunner in the Marines. So he trained me, and so I started working out with him. So I was working out with him for a long time, and then 2020 came, right? So we couldn't do what we were normally doing. So we were doing bands and stuff at home, working out here, and and then I was kind of like, dude, I'm like drinking a lot because first of all, I'm in this toxic ass relationship. There's a fucking pandemic happening on top of this. And like, I'm just hating life right now. So, and then work was god awful, especially in July of 2020. I almost quit my job. I was like, people are getting paid more to stay home than I am. And we are getting over 1,000 calls a day. And people are just like, it was so bad here that we actually had to enact a policy, not only within our company, but within dispatch, to where people, if they were calling for something like a stomach ache or a headache, which is considered a priority 3 call, they were put on the back burner, opposed to like the chest pain, breathing problems, MVAs, so car accidents. They were put on the back burner for those calls. And which meant, because we were getting so many priority 1 calls and priority 2s, that those people with the P3 problems were waiting like hours to 2 hours only for us to show up to tell them that we're not taking them.
Oh my goodness.
And so we had people wanting to like fight us. Like it was crazy. And or wait, was that 2021? That might have been 2021.
Well, you guys had like staffing shortages in 2021, right?
And then we had a lot of people quit in 2020. Our turnaround for EMS is actually really bad. People don't stay very long. So they usually get out pretty quick. So there's a shortage of medics, and then they're always switching out EMTs. Like, some of us change clothes before we go out,
Yeah.
So they, there was we're always short staffed, and then people were calling out, people were getting COVID, and then they weren't allowed to work if they were COVID positive, which now is not the case. We can work COVID positive now. So that's like not a thing anymore, I guess. So, but yeah, it was rough. So there was a lot going on, and I was like, I need to get the hell out of this town.
And I think you're in California, but I'm assuming you're like in North Cali. Is that it? Or Central California.
Central
Okay.
California. So, so we were actually getting dispatched to help like places like Sacramento and Bakersfield. So our company was sending people out to help those. And then you have freaking fire season on top of all of that. And because we live in the Central Valley, and the air quality here is complete trash. And like, if you don't have asthma, you will if you move here. Like, it's a joke that we say, but it's actually kind of true. So, and then when the creek fires, that's what happened in 2020 is the creek fires. That brought actual ash down onto my town. And so people not only were having COVID, they were having breathing problems due to the ash.
Yeah.
So like the sun was blocked out for a week with ash. It was wild.
Yeah. Vitamin D. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that was pretty intense. And then that lasted till like November. I think the fire finally went out in November. So, so November is actually when I bought my first national park pass and decided like, okay, I want to go see this Mount Shasta place. And they have like all these like vortex conspiracy theories there. And like, like there's aliens or whatever. And so I was like, I got to go see this. And so I went and saw that, and then, hung out there for a while, and then I actually found a really cool hotel there that allows dogs, and they actually give you a list of restaurants and bars that allow dogs there. So like when you check in, they give you this list so that you know where you can take your dog with you.
It's a good people.
Yeah. So I was like, this is awesome. I love this idea so much. And so yeah, obviously my baby comes with me everywhere. And then from there, then we went to the Grand Canyon and Zion, and and then I just realized, like, I'm like, man, like I really love it out here. And then it kind of got me closer to God too, being out there, because I'm like, there's no way like this is created by anything else but God. Like it's just too beautiful. Like the sunsets, the sunrise. That was the thing too. When my dad was passing away, through his window, we could always watch the sunrise or the sunset, like see all the colors from it. And I just really love sunsets after that point. And so seeing sunsets are kind of special to me. So just seeing that in like Zion, especially, like, holy crap, if you haven't gone to Zion, like Jesus Christ, that place is incredible. So like the rock. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. I guess I'll chime in with this because I wanted to connect to how all that, even if at first it wasn't so much a health thing, it was a desire to be outdoors, it became a health thing because of just how better it was for you to be out there and enjoy those things. And there's like that familial connection that you have. That's everything you said is basically how I feel the same way. So I've been traveling since I can remember, even before I can remember. Apparently, my parents tell me that I've been traveling that long. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. No wonder I have that in me to travel. So now I'm passing on the I guess a family tradition that my dad's basically set to my children. And next thing I know, I'm sometimes finding myself playing the same songs that my dad did in the car, just because like, oh yeah, when we're driving through here, we kind of have to hear that song because I like to drive. Road tripping is what I like to do. I take a plane unless I absolutely have to. I'd rather drive. But before I had kids, early on in my marriage, I went to visit some friends in Wyoming because his mother passed away unexpectedly tripped, fell senior, so she tripped, fell, hit her head against a rock, and it was just awful.
Oh,
And
wow.
because of Wyoming, and because you've been there, you would understand this. So the main hospital is in Casper, one of the big cities in Wyoming, but my friends lived out in the rural parts, which were hours away from there.
Yeah.
So to drive 100 plus on those roads just to try to get there, and in wildlife highways, so cars plowing into vehicles was like a daily occurrence. So they
Mhm.
said we had to take the chance. Mom is dying, and unfortunately, it did end up passing. So I told my wife that I got to be there for them. So let's go. Her and I, it was a weekend thing. So let's just go. We'll be there in time for the funeral. I made the trip in 15 hours. We can get there. So we drove. And when we were done up there on the way back on the 15 freeway, I told her, when we come back, I'm going to take you to Zion Canyon National Park just so you can see it. And she's like, really? Because she likes traveling, but because she's Taiwanese, she's flown a lot. She lived out in Texas before she lived out in Los Angeles. So it's these kind of things are not too unfamiliar for her. Just that this time it was different because I told her, I want to show you Zion. But as soon as I said that I have to pay, we have to pay to go in, it's like, oh, let's save the money. Let's not even bother. It's like, you don't understand. It's like, well, what makes Zion so special? We see all these rock carvings as we're driving on the 15 freeway. It's like, you don't understand. You can't throw a freeway through it. You'll see why. And she just insisted, no, but I convinced her. So we took the pass from St. George and went over to Zion. Once we were passing through, oh my goodness, I forget the name of the little town. It's not Panguitch, the town, Springdale, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Heading into it, and as we're approaching, she's like, "What is that?" It's like, "I know, you're seeing it." It was so much for her that we had to pull over. It's just the first time she's ever seen anything like this. I had to pull over before getting to the kiosk to pay to get in. She went outside the car with tears in her eyes, looking at this majestic view. It's like, this is His Majesty. It's like, that's exactly what the explorers said, because that's how they named these things. The Great White Throne, Angel's Landing, and all these different things.
Mhm.
And she just couldn't believe it. It's like, so that's why it's like, yes, we're gonna drive through it. You can check out the tunnels, and we'll drive back down because we're heading for LA. We have to be there like in 3 hours. But whatever, we weren't there in 3 hours, obviously, because we had 6 hour drive.
Like,
But
you probably made it to Vegas.
Making it Vegas. Yeah, but we had to be in LA. So it's like we're just driving through here. But it's the most surreal experience for her. And it's like, I want to go see more. It's like, and
Mhm.
you will. So for us to travel was awesome. Yellowstone was on the bucket list that I moved up. Like, you know what? We're going to go before anything else. We're supposed to go during 2020. 2020 happens. And then the limitations and how people be able to go up there. It's like, oh, man, it's going to be more difficult to go up there. So I told her, we're going to go before that super volcano in Yellowstone blows us all up, because apparently here in California, here in LA, we're still in the blast radius. So I'd rather have front row seats if it's going to happen.
Right? Exactly.
Like, wow. Instead of, oh, here it comes. No, I want to see it. It's like, to see the
Right?
ground. You said the ground was alive. It's literally pulsating over there. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is rising. Look at it. It's like, it's crazy. But that's why I told it, Yellowstone, and having been to so many national parks, particularly in the West Coast, because I haven't really gone East Coast except twice, but it was more for like a conference thing. It never ceases to amaze me how Yellowstone, not just being the first national park, it's the most diverse of its kind, because you can basically, there's canyon, there's valley, there's waterfalls. The Great Tetons are right there. It's like, it's kind of part of the park in a way. I told my wife I wanted to camp there. The whole place is just absolutely surreal. It's outer worldly in a way, but no, it's our world, and it's right there. I just think it's an absolute beauty of a park that needs to be maintained, and it needs to be beheld by just anyone. If anyone has to pick one place to go, I would say just go to Yellowstone, because it's the most diverse of its kind. Grand Canyon is absolutely gorgeous, but it is a canyon, and unless you're hiking with a mule, you're not going to really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, like the Grand Canyon. So I work out a lot, and we only went down like a mile on one of the trails. And my friend, she wanted to, like, we were short on time, so we were like, well, we'll come back up. So we started coming back up, and I was like, oh wow, my cardio is not ready for this.
Right.
Like, Jesus. I want to go back now though, because I've been working like that was like 2020, right? So I was like, I'm kind of out of shape at that point. I was drinking a lot. So that's probably why it was hard. But I'm like, I want to go back now and try it again and see if I still feel the same way, because I couldn't even, we rented bikes and I didn't think about like the hills there.
Oh yeah.
And so we went down, like we just coasted down like 3 miles, right?
That's easy.
And I'm like, oh, this is super great. Like, this is awesome. And then on the way back, I was like, oh my God, this was a horrible idea.
Right.
Like these mountain biker people like that you see on the side that are going up these hills, like they're insane. Like I got off my bike and walked it. I was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, and you still had to push the bike up. You know, it's like
yeah, like the last half, I'm like, I'm done. I don't know how you guys are doing it. I'm tired.
I'm leaving the bike here. Yeah. No, well, and that's I guess I should ask you, how much time do you have left? Because we're about to hit the 1 hour mark.
I'd probably go like another 30 minutes and then I should probably get on with my day. I got to prepare for my 24-hour tomorrow.
Absolutely. So 24-hour fun times. What convinced you to stop drinking though? Because that was the thing. That was the post that kind of connected and made all this happen.
So, okay. Yeah. So, when I went with my friend, and so now don't get me wrong. I like drinking. I like having a good time. Right. But I went with my friend. We went out. We were out in New Orleans and we were out in Miami and LA. And then we were drinking a lot, and I was looking at some of our videos and I was like, wow, I'm fucking annoying. I was like, Jesus Christ, I am so annoying. And then like, you know, the pre-drinking before you're watching everybody else get drunk, right? And I'm like, man, like I love drunk people. I find them hilarious. But I also I'm like, man, like this girl's hella annoying. And then, but I was like, but I see that they're having fun, you know, college kids, they're like, I'm 35, so I'm old. So I've seen it, you know, I've been there too, girl, you know? So, but I'm like, you don't know how annoying you actually are though, unfortunately, like, you know? And then I was looking at myself at some of those videos. I was like, shit, I was that girl. I was that girl. And then, also too, I just don't like the way I feel the next day when I wake up, and then it makes my workouts worse. So like I said, I was already working out before. It makes my workouts worse. And then like it makes you lazy kind of like, so after you go out drinking, especially like my age, I need like a fucking week to recover now. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to be doing this anymore, you know? And then like it comes with like this whole, I'm also not into the hookup culture. I really am against it. And then when you meet people out there, it's not the kind of quality I'm looking for in a man. And so like, granted, I met a lot of cool guys out there and stuff, but it's just like I can tell how you are, because I've been on this earth like for a while now, so I can kind of pinpoint a personality just based on a small conversation with the guy. And so I'm kind of like, not really like interested, you know? So just like not usually like, there's not usually quality people out and about drinking. And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is they're still finding themselves. And I'm looking for people who are more confident and sure of themselves. Usually people go out to drink and let loose and have a good time. And some of these people that are out are very insecure people. And they're like hedonistic, you know, and I'm not really like, for me, the way I am, I'm very friendly and I'm like a very nice person. And so like, I talk to people, so I need a guy that's very confident. And, you know, so being like self-conscious and stuff isn't going to work for me. I also need one that's cool with me, like lifting weights and shit. So it has to be someone that's stronger than me. So like some guys get really intimidated by the way I work out, because I don't work out like a chick. I work out like a dude. So, so some guys are intimidated by that. And, so, you know, then I have that issue. And then also to the hedonistic part, I'm not like a polygamist. I don't like cheating, and I'm not into this hookup culture they've created. I think it's like ruining the psyche of all of us collectively, like, because now we're using people instead of getting to know them and being kind and human to each other. And I'm not saying that you can't, I guess, like hook up and still do that, but it's just, I feel like it's reserved for people that like you love, So, and I think that we've gotten away from that a little bit. And I think that's why a lot of, like, also too, I get this a lot from men, like that they don't want to get married or any of this kind of stuff because women are bad to them. And you know what, like looking back, like, yeah, women are kind of shitty to men sometimes. Like they're like, they've created like everything we look at pretty much. Like I don't see anyone else being a plumber, and like especially construction workers, majority are men. They're trying to bring women in now, but my best friend's an electrician, and he said that the women have a hard time on the job because it takes a lot of strength to do the manual labor. So unless you can pull, like, so they have women doing easy jobs on there. So it's like we really like owe it to men to be nice and kind to them as much as they owe it to be nice and kind to us. And so I feel like the whole hedonistic culture, like hooking up, we're not being nice to each other at that point. We're using each other, and that's not nice. So like that's kind of my view on it. So that's kind of what I was seeing in this bar culture. So yeah, it's fun. Like I get it. I have fun going out too. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you're doing it every weekend, you're kind of losing yourself, and you're not like really doing what is productive for society. And being productive in society, like if you want society to change, you have to be the change you want to see, right? So if you want people to be nicer, be that change. So I found I follow Tommy Vex. I love him, and he had posted Andy Frisella. And so now I love him too. And if you haven't seen Andy Frisella, this guy is like my soul brother. Like he is exactly how I think, but I just haven't got to his level yet. Like I'm trying to get to his level. And so I wanted, like, so I've been listening to him, and I love the way that he thinks about things. It's very similar to how I think, especially because I lived in that victim mentality for a long time. Which kind of society is created as well, is like everyone's a victim. Everyone needs to have a sob story. And it's like, look, we all have sob stories. Like if you're not teaching people what you learned from your sob story, and if you're still dwelling on it, you need to move on. Like, I'm sorry, because you sitting and dwelling on it's not getting anyone anywhere, especially yourself. So, and it just teaches you that you don't have to be better. You don't have to try harder. So by listening to Andy Frisella, I found out that he had this thing called the 75 hard. And so what you do is, so it's kind of like, it's training you for like better time management, for you to be basically like a productive member of society, and how to get some traits, like some goals, some routine down. It's like self-confidence building. So easy way to build self-confidence is set some goals for the day and accomplish them, like start checking them off, right? So, and don't make an excuse for yourself. We call that the inner bitch voice. Don't let your inner bitch voice dictate why you can't do something. Do it, get it done. So, so for what he starts you off with is 2 workouts, 1 45-minute indoors regular kind of workout, and then 1 outdoor workout. So you're out in the elements. Being out in the elements, especially like here in the Central Valley, it was like 115 the other day. So trying to work out in that is rough. That's hard on your body. Trying to work out in the rain, that's hard on your body. But it's good training. It's good mental training. So, and that's the point, right? And then, you know, doing a workout, some people can't even find the 45 minutes to work out.
Yeah.
Like make that time, find the time, because you have to prioritize your health. You have to prioritize yourself and what's good for you, right? So, and that means also eating healthy. So that's on one of the things, is follow a diet plan. So for me, I'm on a macro diet plan, but I also like started reading how much unhealthy stuff is in our products. So during this time frame, I kicked out everything as humanly possible, because it's hard. That's unhealthy. So anything with like unnatural. So basically I'm legitimately trying to buy from local farmers, and I'm starting the whole like drinking actual milk, like raw milk, and I'm doing meats. So they say that beef is actually better than the chickens, because what they feed the chickens is like nasty crap. and then they're absorbing that into their muscle tissue and their fats, and then now you're eating that nasty crap too. Whereas cows graze on the land, so and they have 4 stomachs, right? So you're getting a healthier product through these cows, right? So if you can find a farmer that has natural cows and that they're not pumping up steroids and stuff like that. So I try my best to buy those kinds of products. And then so same thing, like, so I stick to, and then I listen to my body. Like, my body hates broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Like, I like it, but my body hates it. It's not about it. So I try to stay away from that. And you can feel it too. So once you start eating healthy and you get in a habit of eating healthy, you can actually feel the days. So like, let's say, I also found out that nuts irritate my stomach as well. So when you start eating super healthy and you stick to like I literally am like a dog on what I eat. I literally have the same shit every single day. I don't change it. It's the same exact thing. So that way, when I do change it, I'm like, oh, you know what? Probably shouldn't eat nuts. It upsets my stomach or it bloats me. Probably shouldn't eat this. It affects this with me, you know? So you kind of can tell that way. So like for me, like I've been eating super healthy. This last like month, I've kind of like, since I've been back from Glacier, actually, I've kind of been reintroducing different things. So I'm kind of a little bit off my program right now. I'm going to get started again here pretty soon. So that's another thing. So we got 2 workouts, 2 45-minute workouts, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor. We have sticking to a diet. And then you have reading 10 pages from an actual nonfiction book. So you're learning something new, right? Yeah. And so a lot of people have that's my biggest issue I have. Like, I got the workouts down. I'm fine with it. I got the eating healthy. I'm fine with that. I could do the drinking a gallon a day. That's another thing. I could do that. It's the freaking reading for me that gets me.
What's a book?
Right? Like, I read a lot, but not from a freaking book. Like, I'm always on my phone reading. I read all kinds of things on my phone, but it's not from an actual book. So so that was actually kind of a challenge. And so that was the interesting part. I was like, that's so funny that out of all this, because most people are going to have problems with the working out or the eating, right? Like, that's not me. That's fine. And then staying away from alcohol was the other thing. And so no cheat meals, no alcohol, and you're supposed to do it for 75 days. Well, I got to day 60 and I messed up. And so you're supposed to take a progress photo. So I initially missed the picture. And since I was in Glacier, I was like, I'm gonna have a beer, because I like to go to different breweries and try like their local beers. Yeah, I do like to do that. So like, I'm not for going out and partying all the time. Like, I think it's fun to do occasionally, but I don't think it's a habit that people should have. Like, it's not like, don't be celebrating every weekend, be productive. You know, like there's a lot of shit that needs to get done. And in your 20s, you waste a lot of time. Trust me, I know you waste a lot of time fucking partying, and that there's nothing good ever really comes of it, except for it. Like, sometimes you might get lucky and don't wake up with a hangover. So like, nothing really good comes from the partying, especially like females. You know what I'm talking about. Nothing good comes from partying. So, and then I guess lately too, this is a side note, but some of my guy friends are talking about how aggressive females are getting now. Like, you ladies need to chill out. Like, men don't like it. I have a lot of guy friends, and some of them are very attractive, and they don't like you trying to undress them or grabbing them in public. They don't like that. That's not cute. Interesting. Like, imagine if they did that to you in public. That's not okay. So like, I've been hearing stories from my guy friends about this, and they hate it.
Yeah, well, there's 2 examples of how, I guess, Hollywood has created this idea of what women are. It's like, Iron Woman, Hear Me Roar, and how men are emasculated in these shows and movies, because what they literally done, especially to our favorite characters over the past couple of years. Looking at you, Disney. So there's there's this whole Rings of Power, this fake Lord of the Rings that Amazon has, Galadriel. There's a moniker that's named Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic calls her a Guy Ladriel. Oh, she's like the ultimate tough person all around, and everyone has to tell her how great she is, but she's also the ultimate Karen. So she's
Mhm.
always complaining and like asking to see the manager, like literally in the show. And I just saw a clip yesterday of the last episode. I'm like, oh my goodness, it gets worse and worse. Like, oh, this is bad. That's why Amazon's like right now just trying to protect its product, because no one likes it and everybody hates the character. Even leftists don't like the Galadriel characters. Like, dude, okay, that's way too much. Um, and then there's what happened with that Wonder Woman 1984, where it's like, wait, Hollywood, you're trying to write some kind of morality here. Wonder Woman is literally raping a dude that is being possessed by the spirit of the guy that she loved, like, and everyone like, that this is weird. It's like not cool. So there's all these things that have been going on. By the way, I think it's a couple of words that YouTube don't like. Oh well, whatever.
Oh,
So,
oh, good. So
yeah.
this is on the special channel then.
Yeah, so if people seeing like hey, Andres is dropping like his voice, his microphone not picking it up. No, that's YouTube. So if you want to see the full version, just go check it out the website, follow in the show notes at www.segovia.com. This is what we're coming up on time here, and you've been more than generous with yours. Thank you very much for that. It's just I find it interesting. You should have. I didn't know where this conversation was going to go. I had some notes here, like some of the things that I imagine we could touch on. That's what makes the podcast fun. That there really isn't a structure to it. It's more like, well, let's see where the conversation goes. That's what makes it natural instead of, oh, I'm reading from a script. It's so annoying. But you shared a
Yeah.
lot, and I really, I guess to put it onto perspective for people that might think like, well, it's there is that health element, at least undertone or overtone. I can't really pin it, but over all this, because you in a way did that self-discovery to get to where you are now. And I kind of perceived at the very beginning, it's like you sound like a lot of leadership characteristics. You did take that leadership, at least to own it up to yourself, and to take it from there, because it is it, at least for me, is not frowned upon that a woman is considered strong, brave, independent. I don't see that as wrong. I'm raised as I guess you could say Orthodox Christian, so it's not just conservative Christian, so Orthodox Christian, so even
Yeah.
more so. But I've always been impressed also by women that were independent, but also understand, like as you mentioned, respecting the role of a man too, because apparently that's what's out the window. It's like, no. A woman can do anything a man can do, even better than a man, unless that man becomes a woman and then does it. Then that man, trans man, whatever it is now better than the woman. It's like, what? So the world's trying to mix a lot of things. Like, we were designed special. We have our roles. And I admire your strength. I admire what you've been able to chisel out for yourself, and in it all, respecting where you come from. And you mentioned a lot of throwbacks and call outs to your father, which is, I think, is beautiful, because a lot of even modern storytelling try to tell us how evil fathers are. That's what they try to paint in almost every single product that Hollywood puts out for TV or film. The father is evil, respect the mom. Yeah, and you are as independent, strong, brave, to be out there on your own, female. You lift that intimidates guys, and here you are talking about like where are the guys? Like, so she's not saying, see, I don't need a man. No, you said, where are the guys? Quite literally.
Yeah.
And that is what's missing. The wussification of America is a real thing, and it disappoints me that it happens. And I met some dudes that have been under fire over in war, and then they start nudging me and telling me how brave I am. Like, why do you say that? Like, dude, I can't do what you do. I'm afraid of public speaking. It's like, dude, I'm not being shot at. It's like, well,
Yeah, right.
It's a little different, and I get it. I have been in public speaking places where I've seen people pass out and throw up. So it is pretty real. Like, oh, the fear. Public speaking is number one fear. Yeah, I've seen it. I understand it. And this is coming from the guy that growing up was a shy guy in the corner. You couldn't get him to talk or even do the church choir thing. Like, no, I can't do it. And then my friends that I grew up with were shocked. Like, wait a minute, the shy guy, that's the guy that's preaching right now. It's like, what is he doing? It's like, yeah, he's preaching and he's bringing the word, and he's bringing the hard truth. And so what have I been vilified for it? I have the big tech centers coming after me. There's a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. I'll mention some of it off the air for you.
Okay, yeah,
I
I'm
don't want to
curious.
mention that on the record per se, but still, there's a lot of stuff that's come after me for being who I am and speaking the truth, not my truth, but the truth. Well, that's all to say that I really do. I really do see what a lot has complimented you to be a better you. Helped you clear your mind in a sense through your outdoors adventures, to be able to improve your health journey by letting certain things and people go, and to be stronger for it and more clear of mind by also letting go of the habit of being, let's say, a drunk. Being drunk versus recreational drinking, that's two very different things, like the party life and all that, versus I can have a beer or whatever. I don't drink. I made a promise on my grandfather's grave, because he was the hero that my father always talked up, a folk hero, and just to finally be taken off guard and murdered by his enemies. I never met that hero. I always saw the drunken smoker, and when he succumbed 21 years and a half years ago now, and it's like he deserved better, but
Right.
the one that got to him was the bottle. It defeated him, caught him off guard. And when I finally saw his grave in El Salvador, I made a promise over it, and I said, I will never drink. I had a glass of wine, but the intent was that I will not drink to get drunk. And
Right.
I still choose not to, regardless of the societal peer pressure. Even if it offends somebody, it's like, no, you have to understand, there's a tradition. I was invited here, brought kind of against my will, but I'm here, and I respect you for what you're doing. Just don't expect me to partake of it, because I don't want to respect my grandfather. So,
Right.
and that's how I put it. But I admire Shrek, that there are things that we could have talked about, but we're out of time, and I want to respect your time too, so we won't get into it. Your politics are spicy, so for anybody that's interested in learning more about you, or they can follow you, I think you predominantly use a couple of social media accounts, but for anybody, I'd like to check out who you are, what you do, or follow you. You also have a side hobby. You mentioned it. You please, by all means, you're welcome to plug it in if you like.
Okay, yeah. So my main social media is Xanthia Udo, and that's with the XANTHIAUDO. And that's like my travel one. And like he was saying, I do post a lot of political stuff in my stories, but my pictures, I keep that all travel related. So if you don't like the politics stuff, you could just kind of skip on through. But usually the stuff I post, I actually research before I post it, so it might be something interesting to check out. So I try not to post anything that's false. So, which is probably why my account hasn't got officially blocked. So, or at least what they consider false. So that's always kind of questionable. And then my other account is Harley Jen's Gems, and that's my jewelry. I make lava rock bracelets. I make necklaces. I'm getting into doing some leather works right now, and then eventually I plan on having like some jewelry holders too. That I've been collecting sticks on my travels. So when I go travel places, I bring back some sticks like a dog. And then my dog has an account too. It's Adventures with Sydney Baby, Sydney, like Australia. So, and she has her little doggy account, and it's just adorable. So, but that's kind of the stuff that I'm doing right now with my social medias. So, and occasionally I'm unfiltered, by the way, too. So I do usually swear a lot. I've tried to not swear too much here.
Shockingly, folks. Shockingly. But with your gems, I think you recently did some party favors. Was it, or was it with party favors?
I busted out about 20 for some party favors, and so those ones, like, I kind of want to start getting into more making like religious bracelets. So like I use healing stones. So if anyone's like familiar with that, so I tried, like, if you tell me what you want protection from, I can make it and gear it towards that. So I'm still learning all of the stones and what they mean. But if you let me know, I can research it for you and make it. And but this particular birthday, so I'm Montenegrin, and my mom's name is Vera or Veda, which means faith. So so the bracelets were geared towards her name in English. So everyone that got a bracelet, it had some sort of like faith, religious connotation to go with her. And then my aunt's name, which is ironic because in Spanish it means nothing, but it's nada, which means hope in our language. So for her birthday, I'll be making some that have to do with that.
Yeah.
So
fascinating.
But yeah, so the metal bracelets are the new, like that's new. So I'll be posting pictures of those here pretty soon. And so you guys can check that out. I have a PayPal. I haven't figured out the shipping exactly yet. So I'm still working on that for people that's not in California. Right now, I'm literally just driving it and giving it to people.
Wow.
Cool.
I think fuel's more expensive than shipping nowadays.
Yeah. So, well, like one of the bracelets I wanted to send, I got an order in Canada, and to send the one bracelet was $50. And I was like, do you want other things? Because the shipping's really expensive. Like, should I make like a whole
digital
thing for
mock-up? I'll send it to you through email.
Yeah, right. Like, I'll just like, when am I going to see you? Let's see. I'm going to be near the Canadian border. Do you want to meet me?
Right. Let's meet at the Vancouver border. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So sometimes too, I take the bracelets with me, like out in like on my hikes, and I'll take pictures of them out on my hikes. I have a couple bracelets I took out to like Zion and Oregon.
Promo pictures.
So yeah, and then I think it's kind of cool that like I travel here, and then these bracelets got to go here too. So that like if you're a believer of energy and that kind of a thing, like the energy like around this beautiful place is there in the bracelet. So if you're a believer in that, some people don't believe in that kind of stuff. I do, and I'm always really happy. And then I usually do like a little like prayer that anybody that does get a bracelet, that they're protected and that they're safe. So I usually do a little prayer with that, with my bracelets. So if that bothers you, just let me know and I won't pray over it. But like, because I know some people don't believe in that kind of stuff, but like I firmly do. So
and like I come from an Orthodox Christian background, so I have a very strict and rigorous perspective on a lot of things. While that doesn't necessarily bother me per se, I would say there's something more personable that comes from something handcrafted, and if it's gone on journeys, it has a story to tell. And I love history. That's why a lot of stuff that's happening right now doesn't surprise me, because like you look back in history, you don't learn from it, you tend to repeat it. And in the case of anybody that actually reads the Bible would know that one of these latter books actually told you about what's going on right now. So it's like 2,000 years ago they told us what's going to happen now. So a lot of us not really surprised. Still, the point is that there's a story behind a thing. I believe in heirlooms. So I'm excited to pass on some of my stuff to my children someday. And like, here's a story that goes behind this. It's like, just remember it's like, this is one of a kind. That's what makes it one of a kind.
Yes.
And not mass produced and things like that. So yeah, I do believe it. So that there's always that other perspective to look at things too. And as we're letting go, your social links will be available in the show notes to accompany this episode at www.thinkssegovia.com, folks. So you're like, what did she say? Let's rewind so we can spell it. They'll be available. I'll even embed her Instagram in the show notes so you can check it out yourself. The pictures are absolutely beautiful. And if you want to chuckle, because this gal didn't drop one pun in an hour and a half, it's shocking. That is the ultimate restraint. I'm actually disappointed. There was not one pun. Every caption, like, see, just think about Instagram. I've always said that Instagram, it's like a social media for girls. It's fitness models and butt models. It's kind of annoying because to break out, it's been a little annoying, at least for me. But I must say the thing that annoys me the most about social media are these pictures, and the caption having zero relation to the picture. It's like, it could be a poem of something. Like, yeah, but what's that got to do with you being an In-N-Out? No, it makes no sense. Yours is the closest thing to making sense and humorous at the same time. There's so much pun. Like even when it looks like, oh look, it's a pretty straightforward. She dropped the pun. She couldn't resist.
Yep. I love doing that so much. I love puns. When I'm getting like really goofy and stuff, I'll like pun around. But I like doing that with this, like especially like when I was in Zion and I was looking at all the rocks. I'm like, this place rocks. Like it was hard to get here. Like wink, wink. Like
and that's what I mean, folks. You have a sense of humor that's pretty hilarious, and I wanted to touch on, but we can't because we're up on time. But you also have like a dark, humorous side to you too. That's
oh God, yeah. That's the one thing I have been blocked for is my dark humor.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. Her name is Harley. She's in the medical background. Are you sure the Joker is not your boyfriend?
Because he was initially.
Well, okay. Well, Harley.
But remember, we broke up.
Yeah, Harley Quinn technically breaks up and goes on separate ways. That's true. But
yeah, I'm at that. I'm at the place where she's in the red dress, and we're, that's where we're at now.
That's where we're at now. Okay. All right, got it. I don't know. I guess I have to meet the rest of the Suicide Squad. We'll see how that goes. Anyway.
Well, I have my little hyena here. I wonder if Sydney will come over here real quick. Sydney.
Yes, you gotta see Sydney.
Let's come here. Come say hi.
She was technically.
She's like, I was asleep now. Come here. Come here.
I'm not playful anymore.
Look at, there she is.
Whoa.
Here we go. We're getting kisses.
Okay, bigger than the pictures.
Yeah, that's my baby. You'll see her. I have some good pictures of her, and she's hilarious. She has her own little personality.
Oh, I bet.
She is such a funny dog. She literally talks back to me and everything. So she has conversations with me, or I have them with her. I don't know. We talk to each other.
Chicken or the egg? I don't know. I'll let other people figure that out. So don't hang up, but this is where we wrap it for everybody else. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. The socials, like I said, will be available at theundersegovia.com show notes for this episode. And Harley, thank you so much for being on the program. It was a pleasure. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.